Before we get into today's program, there's an important opportunity I want to share with you over these next couple of minutes. The semi-annual BIG5 Lab Bundle sale happening now through next Sunday. Taking control of your health has never been easier, and saving $1,000 in this huge semi-annual event for the BIG5 Functional Medicine Lab Bundle is a win-win. These are the exact top 5 lab tests I recommend to every new wellness client in our integrative health practice that are ready to stop the guessing and finally take a comprehensive deep dive into their overall health and well-being. Each of these labs offers a unique perspective of assessing the body and how certain underlying imbalances may be holding you back from achieving your optimal level of health and vitality. By running the BIG5 Functional Medicine lab tests, you will have the ability to actually discover what your deficiencies and toxicities are. And from there, you can then build your body back up while ridding it of toxins that are stealing your energy and performance and having you feeling less than your best. The BIG5 consists of the Minerals and Metals test, the complete Candida Metabolic and Vitamins test, the IgG Food Sensitivity test, the Omega-3 and Inflammation test, and the complete Stress, Mood, and Metabolism test. Each of these state-of-the-art labs were specifically chosen for ease of use. That means I can mail these labs directly to you and they can be completed by you right at home. And that translates to better compliance, faster results, and happier, healthier clients. Plus, included in this big money-saving package, you'll receive a coaching call with a certified integrative health practitioner to review your lab results. This is the time of year that I personally run my own BIG5 labs to stay on track with my energy and performance. It's time to stop guessing and finally take back control of your health and body. This opportunity for big savings on the BIG5 won't happen again until next year, so get started with the link in the show notes before the offer expires. Now enjoy the show. Welcome, boundary breakers, to another paradigm-shifting episode of the Cognitive Conundrum. Today, we shatter the chains of conventional medical dogma and delve into the provocative world of integrative health. Brace yourself as we begin to unlock the mystery behind cognitive decline, a subject long dismissed by mainstream medicine as irreversible doom. But have no fear, for we'll unveil a revelation. Cognitive decline can be slowed, it can be stopped, and it can even be reversed when detected early through integrative practices. Today, we'll disrupt the narrative of hopelessness as we paint a vivid picture of how integrative health can pave the way to a future where cognitive vitality is a birthright, not a fleeting memory. Stay tuned, and together we'll harness the potential to defy the traditional norms and embrace the life-altering possibilities that integrative health offers to conquer the daunting enigma of cognitive decline. Hello, I'm Jeffrey Mort. If you're like most entrepreneurs, you're busy taking care of business, yet who's taking care of you? As a certified integrative health practitioner and consulting hypnotist, I'm widely considered a leader for naturally improving energy and performance, as I've coached world-renowned entrepreneurs and athletes to higher performance health and unstoppable confidence. Here you'll find no wasted time as we distill my unique blend of functional medicine, ancient wisdom, and subconscious reprogramming into actionable steps to create ultra-healthy and laser-focused super achievers. If you're ready to take your energy and performance to the next level in your life and your business, then this podcast is for you. Because today, you're going to start breaking boundaries of your mind, body, and business with integrative health. And when you do that, your possibilities are limitless. I'm grateful you're here. Yes, welcome to another Mind Your Monday episode of the Breaking Boundaries podcast for entrepreneurs. This is episode 13. And of course, you'll want to stay till the end when we bring it all together on how to avoid failure and reach your next level of success with integrative health. And for all the show notes and links, visit jeffreymort.com and click on the podcast link. Today, you're going to discover the difference between brain fog, dementia, and Alzheimer's. And we're going to cover 10 early warning signs to look for, and as always, an actionable plan to breaking boundaries. As an entrepreneur, I know that you're concerned about the potential boundary of daily brain fog progressing into something more such as dementia and possibly even Alzheimer's disease. This is a topic I can offer a lot of research, a lot of knowledge, and as well as personal experience about. However, I plan on keeping this episode concise and then giving more in-depth information in future episodes. So this will not be a one and done episode here. I have so much more coming your way on this. In the realm of integrative health, brain fog, dementia, and Alzheimer's are distinct conditions that affect cognitive function and memory, each with its own unique characteristics and underlying root causes. Brain fog typically refers to a temporary or mild cognitive impairment, often associated with fatigue, stress, sleep disorders, and even a poor diet. It may manifest as a difficulty concentrating or forgetfulness, and even mental sluggishness. Is that a word? Yes, sluggishness. The integrative health approach to address brain fog involves, as I keep mentioning over and over in these episodes, removing toxicities, replacing deficiencies, in addition to lifestyle changes such as optimizing sleep, stress reduction, and balancing the gut microbiome. Very, very important for overcoming brain fog. And that's just to name a few. So on the other hand, dementia is a broader term encompassing various cognitive disorders that lead to a decline in memory, thinking, and reasoning abilities, affecting a person's daily functioning. So that is key for dementia when it starts to affect daily functioning. Integrative health approaches to dementia may include a combination of cognitive exercises, nutrition, and stress management, sometimes complementing conventional medical treatments when those are chosen by the individual or their healthcare proxy. That's right. Even though it may seem like I'm polarizing when it comes to integrative health and conventional medicine, I am not. That's why it is integrative health, because that's part of this whole program and bringing good health back online for yourself. So Alzheimer's disease, a specific type of dementia, is a progressive neurodegenerative disorder that causes severe memory loss and cognitive decline. Integrative health perspectives on Alzheimer's, it often emphasizes the importance of early detection and comprehensive care plans that incorporate cognitive stimulation, so brain games, brain activity, physical activity as well, and a brain healthy diet, as well as emotional support for the individual and their caregivers, because it is a very emotional process to watch somebody go through cognitive decline, and I'll touch on that in a minute. While conventional medicine may take the position that there's no cure for Alzheimer's, there have been major breakthroughs from naturopathic and integrative health modalities to enhance quality of life and, in many cases, slow down, stop, and even reverse the disease progression, focusing on a holistic approach to address physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Excuse me. So now that we've covered some differences between brain fog, dementia, and Alzheimer's, I have to give my disclaimer here before we move on to the root cause of the problem and how I know. So because we're talking about dementia and Alzheimer's, which are diagnosed diseases, I do not give medical advice. I am not a medical doctor, and I do not claim to cure, diagnose, or treat disease. But what I do as an integrative health practitioner is I help to discover the underlying root causes of these chronic health symptoms and then get the body so balanced, so healthy that disease cannot exist. Disease cannot exist in a healthy body. So that's what I do. That's my job. So a couple of stories here. Back in about 1985 or 1986, I witnessed my maternal grandmother go through cognitive decline, dementia, Alzheimer's, and it was very confusing to me as a teenager. I believe I was about 13, maybe 12, 13, 14 years old, somewhere back then. And it was, they're not as much known back then as there was today. And of course, myself being a teenager, I really wasn't involved in, the contact with the medical team or any treatment plans that she was going through. But it was a long journey, and it was very unfortunate and very difficult to witness as well. And then again in 2017, my stepmother had rapid onset dementia, and this went from a person in her late 70s being very active up early in the morning, very active in the community, very active with her church, and always, she wasn't overweight, she wasn't obese, she always walked every single day. She was very spiritual, very religious, so she had that focused mindset of quieting the mind and being very intentional. And then within 6 months, she went to not even being able to drive or walk or knowing who her family members were. And it was very devastating to the entire family. And it happened so fast that we didn't have much of a choice but to get her admitted into a dementia care facility, because it was just too much for the family and for my father to take care of her on his own. And once she was in that dementia care facility, she was unfortunately at the mercy of conventional medicine, and there was not much that I could offer for help, just because of their restrictions there and in their care plan. And something else I want to share about myself was that I experienced 12 plus months of long COVID, having long COVID. And, although it was not, dementia or Alzheimer's, there was 12 months of major brain fog and dementia-like symptoms. And it was a daily roller coaster, with having clarity in the morning and thinking that I was in the clear and today was going to be a new day. And then by the afternoon, my cognitive ability would just fall off the charts. And it was a long and frankly scary road. And I didn't know what to expect from day to day. I didn't know if it was, going to recover again the next morning, or if I was going to wake up in that same condition. And it was absolutely, I don't like to say it was scary, because I don't like to get into fear. And I accepted it for what it was. But, however, I was able to put my education and my resources into action. And that's what brought me back from a very unfamiliar mindscape. And maybe I'll do a full episode on my experience with long COVID and how I recovered from that. So the plan here, as you already know, brain fog, dementia, Alzheimer's, it's no longer an old person's issue. And it can be a major business boundary if you're in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, and you're an entrepreneur and you're still working and you have these brain fog issues, or you start to have dementia symptoms, or you're diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's or dementia. And I know personally 4 or 5 people that have early onset cognitive decline in their 50s, and also Parkinson's, which is a brain-related disease as well. And, I want you to imagine life without that problem. I don't want you to go into what if and getting into fear. Don't get into worry and don't get into fear, because here you're going to find that there is proven strategies to know and understand what you can do for this. There is hope. There is a way out. So in a moment, you're about to discover how to monitor for early signs and how to break that boundary. So here we go. 10 early signs of Alzheimer's. And this is actually from alz.org, a very good website for cognitive decline information. So number 1, memory loss that disrupts daily life. One of the most common signs of Alzheimer's disease, especially in the early stage, is forgetting recently learned information. And some others include forgetting important dates or events, asking the same question over and over, and increasingly needing to rely on memory aids such as notes or electronic devices or family members for things they used to handle on their own. Now, not to be confused with typical age-related change. Sometimes forgetting names or appointments, but remembering them later is completely normal when you are, that's happened to me since my mid-30s. So not to be confused with that. But when these things start happening on a regular basis, That's when we need awareness around this, and we'll talk more about awareness in a moment. So number 2, challenges in planning or solving problems. Some people living with dementia may experience changes in their ability to develop or follow a plan or work with numbers. They may have trouble following a familiar recipe or keeping track of monthly bills. They may have difficulty concentrating and take much longer to do things than they did before. As opposed to a typical age-related change, making occasional errors when managing things like finances or household bills, sometimes that's completely normal as well. So there's a fine line there between what is normal or typical age-related change and signs of Alzheimer's or dementia. Number 3, difficulty completing familiar tasks. People with Alzheimer's often find it hard to complete daily tasks. Sometimes they may have trouble driving to a familiar location, organizing a grocery list, or remembering the rules of a favorite game, maybe. And as opposed to a typical age-related change, I'm going to give you one of these for every one of these symptoms. Occasionally needing help to use, microwave settings or record a TV show or something like that. And these apply to people maybe older in their 60s, 70s, maybe even 80s. But when these start happening at a younger age, 40s, 50s, 60s, we want to start taking note of these things, especially with our own selves, not just those in our family or our loved ones. So number 4, confusion with time or place. People living with Alzheimer's can lose track of dates, seasons, the passage of time. They may have trouble understanding something if it's not happening immediately. Sometimes they may forget where they are or how they got there. So typical age-related change, getting confused about the day of the week, but figuring it out later. I mean, that's something that I'm sure we all go through. Like, what's today's date? What is today? And just forgetting. In case you forgot, today is Mind Your Monday here on the Breaking Boundaries podcast. So number 5, trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships. So for some people, having vision problems is a sign of Alzheimer's, and this may lead to difficulty with balance or trouble reading. They may also have problems judging distance and determining color or contrast, causing issues, especially with driving. Now, vision changes related to cataracts, those are typical age-related changes as well. Number 6, new problems with words in speaking or writing. People living with Alzheimer's may have trouble following or joining a conversation. They may stop in the middle of a conversation and have no idea how to continue, or they may repeat themselves, especially repeating themselves. That is certainly a sign that you want to monitor for. It's difficult to know if we ourselves are repeating ourselves, but I've seen this in clients. I've seen this in family members as well. And I'll point that out to them, saying that, do you know you just told me this a couple of minutes ago? Or, you've told me the same story 4 or 5 times. So they may struggle with vocabulary, have trouble naming a familiar object, or use the wrong name. For instance, calling a wristwatch something like a hand clock or something like that. So typical age-related change, sometimes having trouble finding the right word. That's completely typical. Now, following or joining a conversation. When I was going through long COVID and had that daily major brain fog, I would say level 10 brain fog, I had difficulty stringing together words to make a conversation, and it just was so frustrating, so frustrating. So number 7, misplacing and losing things and losing the ability to retrace steps. So a person living with Alzheimer's disease may put things in unusual places. Maybe they put the milk in the cupboard or in a cabinet or something like that. They may lose things and be unable to go back over their steps to find them again. And he or she may accuse others of stealing, especially as the disease progresses. And sometimes it even gets to a stage of violence. And I do recall this with my stepmom actually lashing out and hitting my dad when she would accuse him of, stealing something or taking something of hers. And it was very heartbreaking. So a typical age-related change on this is just missing things from time to time and then retracing steps to be able to find them. Number 8, decreased or poor judgment. So individuals may experience changes in judgment or decision-making. For example, they may use poor judgment when dealing with money, or pay less attention to their self-care or grooming or keeping themselves clean. Typical age-related change on this is making bad decisions or a mistake once in a while, like neglecting to change the oil in the car or something along those lines. Number 9, withdrawal from work or social activities. A person living with Alzheimer's disease or dementia may experience changes in the ability to hold or follow a conversation, as I indicated earlier. And as a result, he or she may withdraw from hobbies or social activities or other engagements. They may have trouble keeping up with a favorite team or favorite activity or anything like that. Now, typical age-related change, sometimes feeling uninterested in family or social obligations. And that could just be, somebody setting boundaries and not wanting to be around a certain type of person anymore. So number 10, rounding it out here, changes in mood and personality. This is actually a very key indicator. Individuals living with Alzheimer's may experience mood and personality changes. They can become confused, suspicious, depressed, fearful, anxious, or all of the above. And they may be easily upset at home with friends or when out of their comfort zone. So a typical age-related change for something like this is developing very specific ways of doing things and becoming irritable when their routine is disrupted. So there it is, the 10 ways, the 10 top signs of Alzheimer's and dementia to keep track of. And I will link up that alz.org page so that you have access to that as well in the show notes of the podcast. And your call to action today, 5 steps really. We'll break this down into 5 quick steps. Take the toxicity assessment that we have. This will be a good indication of root causes of brain fog. And brain fog comes from toxicities and deficiencies. So too much of something and not enough of something that you need. And this toxicity assessment, it's free. You don't even need to put in your email, and it'll let you know if you're a good candidate for the functional medicine detox, which we'll talk more about in just a moment. Number 2, get checked. Early detection matters so much, as well as your annual physical and your blood work with your primary care physician or your medical doctor. I suggest running the BIG 5 at-home functional medicine labs. You can do that with your naturopathic doctor locally. You can do it with any level 2 integrative health practitioner at ihp.org. or with our team at Love Energy Wellness. If you want to learn more about the Big 5 at loveenergywellness.com/shop, you can check it out over there. And of course, if you want, you can book your complimentary consultation with me there at the same website for your discount on the Big 5 lab testing. Number 3, it's something that's called the SAGE examination, SAGE, and this is done by the Ohio State University. And SAGE is an acronym for Self-Administered Gerocognitive Examination, I believe is how you say that word, Gero cognitive, gerocognitive. And that's the SAGE examination. The SAGE examination cannot diagnose, however, it gives a practitioner a baseline of mental function so that progressive changes can be tracked over time. So you can check this out. I'll link it up in the show notes directly to the Ohio State University page. You can check out the SAGE examination. You can take that yourself or do that with your loved one that you may suspect may have some early onset cognitive decline going on. Lifestyle adjustments. Number 4, the de-stress protocol. Lifestyle adjustments and diet and exercise and stress reduction and toxin removal and rest and emotional balance and supplementation and success mindset, making small adjustments in there will help to reduce that pressure in your toxin tank. When you take the toxicity assessment, that'll let you know how full your toxin tank is, how pressurized that is. And if you're about to, explode into these other chronic illnesses and diseases and things like that. But reducing risks of all-cause mortality by making these adjustments are going to help. All-cause mortality, cardiovascular disease, stroke, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, cancer, which is, of course, is the wild card, and then dementia, which is now also known as type 3 diabetes, because all those other things, if you're taking care of the risk of cardiovascular disease, stroke, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, cancer, if you are mitigating all of those, chances are you're not going to end up with dementia and Alzheimer's. So that's why the de-stress protocol is so critical in prevention of all of these all-cause mortality issues. And then number 5, genetic testing. Those with the ApoE4 type genetic profile are most susceptible to dementia and Alzheimer's. And Love Energy Wellness will be adding this testing to our practice as early as October 2023. I've already done mine. I'm actually a 3-3 allele, so that's my ApoE genotype 3-3, which puts me right in the middle. If I was a 2-2, I'd be less susceptible to Alzheimer's and dementia, and if I am a 4-4, then I am more susceptible. So I'm right in the middle, 3-3. But still, work to be done to make sure I'm not going to tilt more towards susceptibility for these issues. And then I'll be finishing my genetic testing training very, very soon and putting together a groundbreaking high-performance life extension program over at Love Energy Wellness. And I want you to know that you're not a victim of your genes. I want you to remember this. Genetics loads the gun. Like your genes are your genes. Genetics loads the gun, but it's lifestyle that pulls the trigger. And that's why the de-stress protocol is so important. So I want you to be able to avoid failure. Don't be in the growing number of statistics for early onset dementia, early onset Parkinson's. So much of our health and the health of our loved ones begins with awareness of those subtle changes in ourselves and how we feel, the things that we're doing. Am I forgetting? Am I misplacing? Am I just, exhausted at the end of the day? Like that fatigue also plays into this as well. And then believing in mainstream misconceptions that managing cognitive decline is your only option. That is a sentence for failure, my friends. So don't buy into that, not at all. I want you to have a success story. I want to hear your success story, and I'd love to be a part of your success story. So no more brain fog. It's really easy to do. That's why we do a total body and mind reset community functional medicine detox every 90 days, every change of season. We have another one coming up in this fall, and we'd love you to be a part of it. You can join our community. You can check that out in the show notes. And if you don't want to wait until our next community detox, you can get started today at loveenergywellness.com/transform with our self-guided program for total body and mind reset, our functional medicine detox. And this will put you in position to be able to clear out those toxicities and to be able to replace those deficiencies and be able to begin to take the steps to avoid things like brain fog, like dementia, like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. And I want you to be able to avoid Alzheimer's. This is actually a choice. It is actually a choice. Everything in life is a choice. Yes, even paying your taxes, that is a choice as well. Your decisions today certainly define your tomorrow. And I want you to keep listening here to the Breaking Boundary podcast for new science-backed episodes on this topic. I want to wrap things up today here. I'm really doing my best to keep these podcast episodes at 15, 20 minutes going into the future here. I know I was getting away from myself on some of the previous ones, but so wrapping things up, you have 3 key takeaways today. Look for the early warning signs and monitor through testing. Number 2, small changes. Small, little incremental changes will compound when you're putting the de-stress protocol into action. Diet, exercise, stress reduction, toxin removal, rest, emotional balance, science-backed supplements, success mindset, all make a major positive impact on the health of your body and your brain because they are connected. They are physically connected in between your body and your brain. So if you have a healthy body, there's a really, really good chance that you're going to have a very healthy brain as well. And number 3, it's 100% possible to take control of your health starting today. I'm grateful for you joining me here today. Please share this episode with somebody you love, and please leave a review so that we can help more people. That's how it happens. If you leave us a good 5-star review and with some kind words there about what you're learning here in the Breaking Boundaries podcast, that will put us higher in the rankings. It'll make us more readily available to other people, and we'd be able to help and reach more people with our mission, with our message of making the world just a healthier place. So we will see you next time to help you with breaking boundaries. Bye-bye, everybody. Before we say goodbye, you may not have realized it, but you can get free daily access to our thriving Love Energy Wellness community and support group where you'll join health-conscious entrepreneurs just like you. I know you're concerned about your health, energy, and performance. That's why I personally answer your questions daily, invite you to our weekly live calls, and share pro wellness tips for energy and performance and exclusive offers just for our community members. This is also your support hub when we gather every 90 days for a total body and mind reset, also known as the world-renowned Dr. Cabral Functional Medicine Detox Protocol. You're going to love the way you feel every time. So if you're the kind of entrepreneur that values your health as your greatest asset, naturally you'll want to join and invite your friends, your family, and your colleagues to our community where you'll feel loved, supported, seen, and heard. Visit loveenergywellness.com to join the community, or the link is also right here in today's show notes. I'll see you soon.